3, 2, 1, go, 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 go.
What the fuck did I just listen to? Oh, Belinda Carlisle, "Be Still Your Heart." Oh, at least, yeah, Belinda Carlisle.
Little shout out to AEW Botches.
Oh, wow, that just brought a tear to my eye for real. That's fucking amazing. Okay. Welcome to episode 102 of White Heat. Oh man, if this is how it's gonna be from now on, I'm so glad we've done the switch over. Thank you, JJ. Oh God. Um, I am the founder of store number 1 of Lazy Bookings R Us, an organization founded by Tony Khan. Wow. It's funny because not funny, it's very weird. I had a very, very odd dream last night. I know we don't mention our dreams very much. What the, hold on. Let me see that mug again. Jesus H. Christ.
It's my Lost Boys mug.
No, Vampires R Us. Okay. So just had a very weird dream last night that I was working an indie show, but for some fucking reason I was booked to work a match. Very odd. Yeah, I know.
Gonna say I ain't done one of those since 2010.
Just it was a very odd night of sleep that I got. But anyways, we're not here to talk about my sleeping habits. We're here to talk about pro wrestling, motherfuckers. I'm Brian. That's JJ. I'm at Brian Katie. He's at JJ_Alexander on X Twitter-ish shit. Yeah. How are you, sir?
I'm alive. Like 2 hours of sleep 2 nights ago and 3 hours of sleep last night or this morning. So yeah, it is what it is.
Yummy. Halloween was 3 weeks ago, pal. What are you doing?
I don't get sleep anymore, dude.
Is it a physical pain thing or just a fuck it thing?
Little column A, little column B.
Touche. Too fucking shay. All right, we got a lot of stuff to blow through. Not a whole lot of time, so let's just jump right into New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. Real quick, let's just run through this fucking Texas show from last Friday night. Nothing real exciting in the 2 kickoff matches. There was a strong survivor match. I don't fucking know. Some dude named Matt Vandegrift beat Barrett Brown. I know I've heard of Barrett Brown before.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him on TikTok a little bit actually before I actually knew anything else. Because he has his TikTok channel usually is like showing off how to safely do different moves, which good on him. But anyways, the other kickoff match, and again, I mentioned this last week when we rattled through the card, and I still can't believe this was a fucking kickoff match. Fred Rosser beat Tom Lawler in 13 minutes.
Yeah, Fred Rosser was literally the strong, the New Japan Strong champ. Like what, 3 months ago?
Yeah,
I was in the pre-show.
Yep. And Tom Lawler was the previous Strong Openweight champ. Fuck me. Then we had the 6-man Lucha tag match to open the show. Technically, Mascara Dorada picked up the win for his team, pinning Hechicero. Yeah, we'll say that's right. Hechicero. So Rocky Romero's team loses. Yay. Then we get an 8-man tag. Clark Connors gets the pin for his team on Kevin Knight. So Clark Connors was with Gabe Kidd, Alex Coughlin, Chase Owens. So basically Bullet Club versus not Bullet Club.
Right.
Kevin Knight's teammates were Kushida and the returning, well, one night only, I'm guessing, reuniting of
God. Yeah.
That dumb booking. You one night reuniting them and you don't let them win. Fuck it, whatever.
Gotta love Gato.
Toru Yano beat Joey Janela. Yay.
Yay.
It was a no DQ match. You want to guess how Toru Yano won?
I'm guessing some stupid plate glass spot or some shit.
No. A schoolboy.
I got nothing.
It's Toru Yano. What do you need to know? Strong Upweight Tag Championships. El Phantasmo and Hikuleo successfully defend them against Royce Isaacs and Gerald Nelson. Mystico beats TJP in a singles match.
Yeah.
Eddie Kingston successfully defends the Strong Upweight title against Kojima. Zack Sabre Jr. successfully defends the World Television title against Mike Bailey. And Moxley and Wheeler Yuta beat David Finlay and Kenta in a tag match. The IWGP Women's title, Mayo Iwatani retains. And then the main event, Takagi retains the never openweight title over Trent Beretta. Let me just see if I'm right here. So, only one of the matches all night went in more than 15 minutes. And it was the never openweight title match. Hint, hint, Tony. Hint, hint. Yeah, every match. The second longest match was the TV title match, which is interesting because it's a 15-minute time limit, and he still won at 14:54. Hold on. Hypothetical here. If he's going to win by submission, why would you allow it to get so close to the time limit?
Because they don't know how to stick to their times.
Fair. It's Zack Sabre Jr. Good answer. Yeah. And then, not even the Moxley tag match went that long. It went 12, basically.
Because even Gato knows American audiences can't sit through these friggin' 35-minute sloshes.
Yeah. And the main event wasn't even that long. Takagi and Beretta went 25 and change.
Right.
So, yeah. Reasons. Real quick, the only other thing I really got to announce for New Japan is that the World Tag League, pressed on the wrong thing. World Tag League begins Monday.
Should I pull out that graphic?
Sure, if you got it, flaunt it, baby. All right, so here are your A and B blocks for the league. A block, as you can see it, but in case you're not able to read it, I'll read it for you. Shota Mino Narita. Ishii and Toru Yano. That's a fucking team. I don't know.
Why?
Great O'Connor and Hanare. Mikey Nichols and Shane Haste. Alex Coughlin and Gabe Kidd. Evil and Takahashi. Kaito Kiyomaya and Ryohei Oiwa. Sure.
I think those were recently graduated young lions.
And then Bishop Khan and Toa Leona, otherwise known as Gates of Agony. B block, we have Goto and Yoshihashi, Yuji Nagata and Minoru Suzuki. What are they going to call themselves, the AARP club?
Right? Jesus. Combined experience in the wrestling business of 185 years.
Your current New Japan Strong Tag Champs, Hikuleo and El Phantasmo, Tai Chi and Yuya Uemura, Yoda, Tsuji, and Z. Now, usually when they say Z, that means it's a mystery partner. I would hope that's just a mystery partner. Atlantis Jr. and Soberano Jr. from CMLL, Lance Archer and Alex Zane, and then tell me, I never heard of this guy that Bad Luck Fale is fucking tagging with. Jack Bonza.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the name either.
Who the fuck is Jack Bonza?
I'm guessing a gaijin from the LA school. Because let's just stick Fale in there for the fuck of it.
No, he's an Australian pro wrestler.
Oh, okay.
This is going to be his debut in New Japan. I don't know if it's New Japan in general or just Cork and Hall, but it's going to be his. He even gave him a little bio on the New Japan page. 12-year veteran of Australian wrestling, part of the Four Nations.
The dude looks like we bought Jason Statham off Wish.
Trained with the Fale Dojo. Was it Chikara, ROH, CZW, Booker T's Wrestling Academy? Okay, sure.
Dude, seriously, I just sent you a picture of this dude.
Oh, I see him. I see him. I see him. Yeah. There's a picture of him on the New Japan site. I mean, yeah, I see him. Like, good for him. I mean, hell, he got a booking. Whatever. Who cares? Him, take your paycheck. Yeah, that's
The only other thing I saw that came out of whatever event was last night was Tai Chi.
That's an old picture of him, by the way.
Oh, okay. The Tai Chi won the KOPW belt back.
Yeah, whatever, sure. And then I guess they had Okada and company have a random never open weight 6-man tag defense for no good reason last night.
For reasons.
Sure. Okay. Good for you. They won, they retained, who cares? One other thing quick, and no, there's no image for this. I just saw in passing, I believe they booked 2 more matches for Wrestle Kingdom based off of what happened. I don't think it was in Houston necessarily. I think it was just stuff that's happened in general. So let me just go. Oh, okay. So one of them is they booked Zack Sabre Jr. defending the World TV title against Hiroshi Tanahashi. Sure. And then what's the other match that got booked that I haven't seen? That's booked. That was booked. That was booked. That was booked. That was booked. Oh, the never openweight title. Takagi's going to defend against Tama Tonga. So Tom is getting his return match, basically.
Okay.
That's that's that. So that now makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 matches so far booked for Wrestle Kingdom. See, this is how you do it, TK. He's 2 months out, already has 7 matches booked. Shh. Shh. Fucking stupid. All right. Unless you have something interesting to bring up, I'm done with New Japan. How about you?
I'm good.
Okay. Moving on. Impact. Yeah. I mean, we technically have 2 weeks of TV we could blow through, but I mean, you can easily find the spoilers, really.
Yeah, everything's pre-taped. The only thing I noticed is because some stuff that Ace Austin posted was they taped the that throwback show that they do every year this week.
Right. Yep. Last night's TV, Ace Austin and Chris Bay retained the tag titles. That's, I think, the most important thing that came out of it, really.
Yeah.
Moose beat Heath. Rhino made the save from him getting beat up after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're getting Moose and Rhino at the Final Resolution
again.
Impact Plus event coming up. They gave Black Taurus, Laredo Kid, and Juventud Guerrero the win over the Rascals. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. What else here? Oh, mixed tag match. Bully Ray and Jordan Grace beat Steve Macklin and Kylan King.
Mm-hmm.
What? I'm confused. Trinity beats Sunny Kiss in a non-title match. By the way, the throwback show you're talking about happened. That airs 2 weeks from now.
Right.
Just a heads up. And then Ospreay versus Josh Alexander. Ospreay wins, which we knew about already, but kind of, sort of, but whatever. I think this is
just
also
keep
where
pushing Josh Alexander back further down the card.
Right. So yeah, that's really it. Let's see here. Final Resolution is December 9th, so 3 weeks from now.
Mhm.
Yeah, 3 weeks from now. It's in Toronto. It's on Impact Plus and Fight TV. The card so far officially is technically only one match on the card right now, but obviously I mentioned the Rhino Moose thing.
Mhm.
But the only official match they're showing right now is the Machine Guns reuniting to take on Josh Alexander and Zack Sabre Jr.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that's the only official match they're showing booked right now.
Yeah.
There's more official matches booked for Hard to Kill the following month in January than there is right now for Final Resolution.
Right.
Because Hard to Kill in January, which is when they're officially switching back to the TNA branding,
Right.
they have their world title match and their women's title match already booked.
Mhm.
Because Jordan Grace is cashing in her Call Your Shot
Mhm.
against Trinity, and then they booked Moose and Alex Shelley. Basically, I think around the same time as when Jordan Grace
Yeah.
decided to cash in. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, right. Because Moose is cashing in Feast or Fire. That's right.
Right.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because, let's give Moose every opportunity possible to be in a.
Seriously, I don't understand how that man still has a job.
You and me both, pal. You and me both. I got nothing. And really, the most important news for Impact didn't even involve either of those TV tapings from last week or last night. So there was a lot of rumor and conjecture rolling around the last few days because Mickey James had been removed from the roster on the Impact website.
Mhm.
Now, since then, obviously, the rumor and conjecture has been put to bed. She wasn't fired. She technically hasn't left the company. She's just said for the time being, she's just taking a break. And then she'll be back at some point. But everything is on the up and up and good between her and management at Impact. My guess,
Mhm.
again, this is just a complete guess. I'm not.
Mhm.
I have. The only thing is she's not the champ, so I'm not sure if this would even be the best way to go about it. I have a feeling maybe she might be brought in for the Rumble in 2 months. Well, it'd be interesting because they brought in the Knockouts champion before when it was Mickey James a few years ago to be in
Right.
the match. Does Trips try putting water under the bridge of whatever the fuck happened with Trinity and bring her in for a one-off in the Rumble match?
That's a good possibility, but I'm not so sure on it quite yet. We got to see how things play out. I honestly think that Mickey, might be in negotiations again, and I think Trips might want her to be like I mentioned before, one of the new trainers at the PC.
I
And
knew exactly what you're going to say. Yep.
keep her on retainer while she's finishing out her contract with Impact, and so she can still go back and do spots for them when need be.
Oui. I agree. Yeah, that's all I've got for Impact.
The one other release from Impact in the past couple of days.
A release or just somebody who decided to up and leave?
Well, someone who requested their release and was granted.
Really?
Kenny King.
I missed that.
I believe it was last night that it happened.
Yeah. I don't even.
Yeah.
I missed it in the news cycle. Go ahead.
He requested and was granted. I don't honestly see him doing unless he's gonna try to get a Ring of Honor contract from Tony Khan, which is a per diem contract, and he's too stupid to realize it. I don't see him go. He's 42, and he's he burned bridges in WWE 20 years ago. He ain't going back there. I mean, he could show up at AEW, but he's way low on the freaking card. So it's not like he's going to be people are like, oh no, they're going to bring him in to be part of the new Hurt Business. No, they're not. He's 42. Not happening.
I honestly didn't even know that he was that old.
Yeah. He was in season 2 of Tough Enough, dude. Kenny King was the dude who got pissed that the 2 winners of season 2 of Tough Enough were the 2 women instead of a guy and a girl. And he threw a big fucking stink. And then that's what started his whole track record of being a problem child for every company he's ever worked for.
I think the furthest back I can go as far as a timeline of knowing and hearing Kenny King was a problem goes back to the initial incarnation of him and Rhett Titus being a tag team.
Yep.
When I'm pretty sure that this is a story I heard from Cornette's podcast when he was talking about them doing business with Benjamin and Haas.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the first because I think what it was, something along the lines of Kenny was stringing along Jim about a new contract, and then he ended up trying out for TNA or something.
Yep.
And just totally botched everything on both sides and shit. Like,
because he was still holding a belt in Ring of Honor. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It goes back past that. It goes back to like 2001.
You ever have any work with Kenny King personally?
No, I've never worked with Kenny personally.
Probably for the best, it sounds like. Once an egomaniac, always an egomaniac.
Yep.
You heard?
Of course, now everyone's like, now's the time for them to elevate Sheldon John to the moon. Like, yeah, go right ahead. Yeah, have fun with that.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Gonna go a little bit in fucking up the format for a second here.
That's fine.
I gotta address this because I want to bring it up before I forget it.
Okay.
So last night was that big Wrestling Revolver show and their debut in the Los Angeles area last night.
Uh-huh.
Did you happen to see the clip that's come out from that Ronda Rousey tag match last night?
Oh, that she got hit in the head with the ROH belt?
No.
Yeah.
Different.
That's all I saw was because I was going to get to that later on. But yeah, she got walloped with an ROH title in that match.
Don't let that distract you, people. Don't let it distract you. If you're letting your mind go to where you need to let it. Are you trying to tell me that's going to be the big signing he's announcing on Saturday?
I called it a couple weeks ago, dude.
Oh, suck a dick.
It's the
because the other name that I've heard thrown around is Sami Callihan.
Yeah, the thing is, so Sammy supposedly wanted a backstage role, so that's still out the door. Andrew Zarian is claiming it's Will Ospreay. That Ospreay's contract ain't up till February with New Japan, so it wouldn't make sense. And like I said, Tony loves throwing away money at bullshit. And the only way that these indies are able to book Ronda Rousey and not lose their ass is if she's on retainer from a bigger company.
Okay. Well, then she got a rude awakening what she's walking herself into.
Yep.
Because you obviously didn't see the clip I'm referencing if you just saw the one about getting hit in the head with the ROH belt.
Nope.
Well, she had I guess you could call it a welcome to AEW moment, but I was going to call it a welcome to the Indies moment. So Ronda had, I don't know if it was an ankle lock or she had something on Athena.
Okay.
I think it was an ankle lock.
Okay.
Fucking Billy Starks comes up from behind her, breaks Ronda out of the hold, and does a belly to back. Practically dropping Ronda on her fucking head.
Tucker Chen.
Welcome to AEW or Ring of Honor, wherever the fuck you're going to go and be irrelevant. Welcome. Welcome, Ronda. You've now entered Marina Shafir territory. Way to fuck this up in your career.
Don't you know, man? Tony's going to make a fortune on that Tony Storm versus Ronda Rousey fucking program. Don't you know?
The fact that you just randomly said Tony Storm as the opposite end of that program makes you want to cringe.
Well, you know Tony's going over for the fucking belt.
Is she? Oh, that's right. Sheeta has the belt.
Yeah.
For a second, I had Saraya being the champ in my mind still.
No.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I guarantee that's
How
going to
about
be
hot
Tony's
potato in
big
your
stuff.
belt? What the fuck?
He's going to hot potato it as much as possible to try to get that new TV deal.
That'd be the third title change in 3 months.
Yep.
Because Saraya won it in England in late August.
Mm-hmm.
Then Sheeta won it
A couple of
on
weeks later.
Dynamite randomly.
Yeah. Because Saraya was only meant to win it for the pop in England.
Right. And then Sheeta won it. It was Dynamite, right? It wasn't. Yeah, it had to be Dynamite because it wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was on Dynamite, and then like my name said last week, drain damage.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of AEW, we might as well just fucking get into it so we can get it over with and try not to lose our minds.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's just work in chronological order, which would be last week's Rampage. All right, so November 10th Rampage, which as we're taping this was a week ago today. Team this on Friday, November 17th. Starks beats Preston Vance. Starks and Bill attack Vance after the bell. Then the rest of LFI come out to chase him away. Yay. Jericho backstage with Renee discussing. Okay. Hear me out. Why would TK allow Jericho Takeshita to happen in Japan on a random Sunday at an event American fans can't fucking watch instead of on TV?
Because reasons, dude. But what I thought was hilarious was Jericho went over on Takeshita in Japan, and people are like, oh, it's because he's going to put over Takeshita on Dynamite. How'd that work out for you?
It gets a little better, though. Jericho could be out. Apparently, at some point, I didn't get the exact context of where or when, but at some point when promoting this match with Takeshita, which happened last Sunday, by the way, said he wanted this match Takeshita to be different from your normal shit you see on Dynamite. So he's shitting on the product he's part of while promoting a one-off match for a company he'll probably never work for again.
Oh, and also, let's not forget the finish of the match.
I don't know about the finish. Please tell me.
Jericho makes Takeshita tap out to the walls, and then handshake. Yeah.
Does he think that Japanese people don't educate themselves on American wrestling?
Apparently.
Does he think that this is 1990 and people in America don't have the internet so they can look up what the fuck happens so they can try to put one and one together to make two?
Apparently.
Trying really hard not to lose my shit right now. Okay. Moving on. Then we get Callis announcing officially Brian Cage replacing Sammy Guevara in the 8-man street fight, which we'll fucking get to in a little bit.
And how hilarious was it that we all forgot that Sammy Guevara was part of that stable?
Yeah.
We all forgot. Everyone forgot.
That's what happens when you injure yourself every other match. Then we got the Jared Field. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
The best part was the promo that Callis tried cutting on Paul White, who was on commentary.
Oh, that was on Collision.
Was that was on Collision? Oh, sorry, my bad.
We'll get to that in a second. Then we get the Jarrett family backstage interview. Lethal talks about Eddie Kingston, the ROH title. Then Ortiz interrupts because he's unhappy with Jay Lethal's insults from the previous week on Rampage. Then Karen Jarrett, being Karen Jarrett, warns Ortiz to watch his mouth, basically. So Ortiz says, okay, fuck you, punches Jay Lethal, and then everyone else jumps him for his troubles. Sure. Okay.
Sure.
Red Velvet beats Ruby Soho, and then Ruby Soho gets flowers delivered to her after the match. Okay. Taven and Bennett squash a pair of jobbers. I didn't catch their names. Too bad. Fuck them. Then we get Garcia, Menard, and Parker backstage, where Garcia calls out Andrade, which ends up being a match the next night on Collision, if I remember correctly. Yes, the next night on Collision.
Yes.
Then Ruby and Saraya interrupt as Parker is making Google eyes at Ruby so we obviously know who gave the flowers to fucking Ruby.
Right.
And then Saraya and Menard are not happy about what's going on and separate the two, so they stop making Google eyes at each other.
Terrible.
Ridiculous. Then they end the show with FTR beating Commander and El Hijo del Vikingo. And then after the match, the House of Black just appears on the big screen, and that's how they end the show.
The House of Black.
Yes. Speaking of Commander, I'd like to sidebar for a second, because it is AEW related what I'm about to bring up. This has since been, and I'll put this in loose quotes, debunked by the second party involved. But did you hear what was brought up involving Commander recently?
No, I did not.
So apparently, TK wanted to book Commander over Metalik in a singles match.
Oh, yes, I did hear about this.
As a way of Metalik kind of handing down the fucking, like, King of the Ropes mantle, whatever.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Rumor and innuendo was Metalik was not very happy and shit-canned the whole thing.
And he didn't want to put over Commander one-on-one.
Right. Metalik since came out and said, no, it's not the case. Not like that happened.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. And I believe in Santa Claus still. Anyways. Collision. We open with nonsense right away. Did you watch this show?
I never watched Collision.
So it's Garcia versus Andrade to open the show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the background story that's been going on behind the scenes the last few weeks involving Andrade?
CJ Perry.
Okay. Was there any resolution ever brought to that story?
I thought that CJ was now coming out with Andrade.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But they just decided, instead of providing resolution to the story and then having her start to come with him to the ring, she just comes to the ring with him on Saturday night. So, okay then. Thanks for selling that story to us. Like, whatever. We apparently don't get the idea of completing a story before starting whatever.
Nope.
In the end, Andrade submits Daniel Garcia. With what? I don't remember. Who fucking cares?
It was probably the camel clutch.
No, no, that's Miro. I would probably say the figure 4.
Oh, Andrade. Oh, yeah. No, he's been doing the figure 8 lately.
Well, could they be any... Never mind.
Told you.
They're so cynical, those two. So cynical. You know who the other one is I'm referring to, right?
Charlotte.
Okay, thank you. Poor Dalton. Poor fucking Dalton. It's like... So within a week, they show him losing an ROH World Title match to Eddie Kingston last night on Ring of Honor TV.
Yep.
But 5 days before, he has to lose a live TV match to Nick Wayne.
Yep. Because we got to push Nick Wayne.
Dalton, I need you to It's not fucking worth it anymore.
Take the paycheck, stay home, say your back hurts.
You have the built-in excuse because you're wearing the brace anyways every match.
Right.
I swear TK won't check your medical records. I swear he won't. Just say fuck off one time.
Yeah.
Then we get a Hangman promo, or excuse me, promo. Because then we get Rush and Jalisco beating the Workhorsemen. Yay. Then we get a House of Black pre-tape. More yay. Let me be more specific. It's House of Black threatening the tag title division while Julia Hart threatens the TBS title division.
Because the House of Black have apparently just forgotten about trying to get the trios belts back.
Well, I don't think, is Buddy even back yet, though?
Is he hurt? Is that why they're not doing it?
I haven't seen Buddy on TV with them in a while. That's why I'm asking. I just can't remember.
Somebody may be trying to get back to the old.
That's what I'm trying to think. I don't know if he's hurt. I remember. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. So after that pre-tape airs, Chris Statlander and Willow are backstage. They react to Julia Hart's words from the pre-tape. Statlander says Julia doesn't deserve the title match, but Willow does. Sure, more on that to come.
I love Willow, but Willow's been losing left and right. So how does she deserve the TBS title shot?
It's a miracle. It's a miracle. Roddy Strong not only got out of his wheelchair, but he competed in the match.
Yeah. And then got back in the wheelchair and put the neck brace back on. I hate that shit.
Stupid.
I hate that shit so much.
He beat Darius Martin, by the way. Then we get the big announcement. Major announcement. Screaming from the mountaintops. Here's the news. I wasn't even looking at the screen the last 10 seconds, and I look down. I see somebody a fucking body cast. Jesus Christ. So, Tony Khan and Bryan Danielson are standing backstage in this exact backdrop, minus the guy in the body cast. And they reveal, hey, New Japan does something like this. Fuck it. Let's do it too. Continental Classic, 12-man round robin tournament. Championship the finals of the Classic will be held at World's End on December 30th. Now, they didn't reveal if there was any kind of reward involved except for, a shiny trophy.
There isn't. It's going to have as much gravitas as the Owen Hart tournament does.
Except they actually give a title shot to the winners of that eventually.
They do?
Yes. Yes.
I don't remember Sky Blue getting a women's title shot. Or no, she didn't win. Willow did. No.
Willow did. And yes, she got her title shot.
Okay.
So it's a tournament for the sake of having a tournament.
Yep.
Cool. Speaking of Willow, she loses to Julia Hart next.
Mm-hmm.
Which unofficially but officially put Julia Hart into a match with Chris Statlander for the TBS title. We'll pull a full bow on that in a little bit.
Yep.
Because now it's a three-way, but we'll come back to that.
Yep.
Starks and Big Bill backstage with Lexi. Who cares? Then we get to the thing you mentioned earlier. So Powerhouse squashes some poor local jobber in like 60 to 90 seconds with Paul White ringside for commentary. What a great use of Paul White. After the match, Don Callis is cutting a promo, talking shit about Paul White, this, that, and the other thing. Basically trying to goat him into an altercation physically with Powerhouse, which never ends up happening, and Callis and Hobbs just leave.
And this is what happens when you have a very abysmal crowd turnout. Don Callis goes to cut a promo, and the crowd is so quiet, you hear a single woman hurl an insult at Don Callis. You haven't seen this clip?
No, what was the insult?
It's literally Don Callis standing there at the table talking about. He's like, you know what you look like. He says like that's something you don't see every day. And you just hear this woman who's like 9 rows back go, "You look like a hot dog."
Yeah, with a big ass Harry Potter type star on it. Yeah. Fucking Jesus. I did not hear about this.
It's hilarious that it made it to Botchamania.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Wow, fucking wow. So I get FTR backstage interview with Lexi. They call Starks and Big Bill for the rematch in a company that isn't supposed to be given title rematches, but they have been. So fuck it, why not?
And aren't the Bucks supposed to? I give up.
Yes, the Bucks have a title shot for any time they want. Yes, they do. It was even mentioned Wednesday night when they were coming out for their entrance to their tag match because fuck the world. By the way, I have an interesting note about that, which we'll get to. Then in the main event, we have Darby, Sting, and Adam Copeland defeat Lance Archer and the Righteous. That family lasted all 1 week for success.
Right.
Then Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne come out to the top of the ramp to stare down Darby, Sting, and Adam in the ring as they go off the air.
Like, quite literally, this could have been an opportunity to try to get another heel stable over in a vast sea of how many fucking stables Tony Khan needs to have. This is the simplest booking possible, especially with AEW. All you needed to do was have this match and have Christian and he gave them what do you call it? Christian stable officially has a name now.
They do?
Yes.
The fuck is it?
The Patriarchy.
The what?
The Patriarchy.
Because he's a father?
And this way there can be a whole bunch of shit about smashing the Patriarchy. But anyways, all you needed to do was have this match go its 10 minutes. And right before it looks like Darby's about to get the pin on someone, have the heels rush and have a schmaz finish. That way you don't fucking completely just bury this fucking team its first match out. Have it end in chaos and confusion, go off the air. You gotta come see what happens on Monday. Nope, that would make sense.
No, we don't want to harken back to 97 WCW. We're time!
Like, that's what got people to tune in the next week.
Hence, you can take the banner off for a quick second. Hence my name this week. Lazy Bookings Are Us. I hate life sometimes, I really do. And by life, I mean Tony Khan. Oh, I totally fucking forgot. Collision and Rampage are back to back tonight.
And they're going head to head with SmackDown. This is gonna be so hilarious. You would think that with them going head to head with SmackDown, they would try to load the card, but they can't because they have a pay-per-view the next night. So it's all B Squad.
See, hear me out on this. Two things. Number one, if this is how your schedule worked out, where you're doing a Saturday pay-per-view instead of a Sunday pay-per-view, why don't you just cancel that episode of Rampage? Because isn't that the big takeaway that people are having or have been having for years with Raw is 3 hours, 2 hours, still good. 3 hours, Like, isn't that like, don't you think you would take advantage of that? Anyways, that's number one. Number two, again, if you run into a situation where you're live the night before your pay-per-view, kind of going out what you just said, why not take your pre-show matches and make them your live TV matches the night before?
Right.
It's still live.
Or worst case scenario, here's what they could have done, because obviously there's not a lot of there's not a lot of time slots that need to be reserved for certain shit on Saturdays. That's a given. Why didn't Tony go to Warner and say, listen, instead of instead of moving me to the next night or the night before, how about you give me the 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. block on TV on Saturday? Make that your 0 hour and your hype package for the fucking pay-per-view.
Ding, 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 ding.
Sunday Night Heat that shit.
Winner.
And simulcast it on YouTube. Simulcast it on YouTube as well. Not that fucking hard.
He's the man.
And I'm just a fucking lowly indie booker.
Drain damage. Yeah. All right. That brings us to Dynamite 2 nights ago. So they open with a video of the Acclaim getting laid out at the end of the previous week's show.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I'll be honest, I didn't realize I was going to have the TV to myself Wednesday night. So I was like, ooh, Hercules. Even though I hate AEW television. But I didn't put one and one together about that until 8:02. So I literally turned it on as Orange was coming through the curtain. So I was like, oh, good. I missed the irrelevant video package. Yay! Because nobody remembered that or anything. Anyways, so Hook and Orange come out. Because God forbid they don't get separate entrances. I knew this show was going to be shit the moment Orange came down the ramp.
Crickets!
Wow! You want to talk about a dead crowd in what's supposed to be one of the numerous home bases unofficially for the company. Holy shit.
And look at it. And I want you to look at this from the perspective of the casual fan. This is, for all intents and purposes, your go-home flagship show for your pay-per-view that you're trying to sell. You're trying to, well, no, the thing is they're not trying to hook casual fans, and this is their problem. If you're a casual fan who is watching Big Bang Theory or whatever, or who goes, oh, hey, I've got time tonight. I'm going to turn on AEW. And the first thing you see is two guys who are 125 pounds each soaking wet with title belts coming out to zero reaction from the crowd.
You know what my question would be in that case?
What's that?
What the fuck did I just turn on?
Exactly.
In the meantime, apparently we decided to have a hot start out in the crowd for this match.
Because there's a built-in program between Pockets and Moxley.
Let's go beyond that. TK, I asked this question on a regular basis. I'm going to ask it again. If we don't know from one week to the next if the BCC is heel or face, why the fuck we still doing this entrance to the fucking crowd?
Because, dude, I told you, this is what TK's definition of a tweener is. They're baby faces on Saturdays and they're heels on Wednesdays. Oh, did you, dude, 1 second, dial it back. Did you hear the fucking bit from Cornette's show this past week where the dude who was at Collision found a run sheet?
No.
Someone, because it was so empty in the arena, found one of the run sheets for Collision. And literally on it, where it says blah, 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 and it said whoever was facing the BCC, it said Blackpool Combat Club, and then in parentheses, babyface, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. The production crew doesn't even know.
I'm gonna just gloss over that and keep going.
If
If I don't, we're gonna start running behind because there's a lot there that I can get into. So it took 3 minutes to get any of these motherfuckers in the ring to get a bell to go. Yeah, I've got really nothing about this match except Mox and Yuta won. Yay.
because they need to, because Mox is facing Pockets at the pay-per-view, and I said, I watched, they haven't announced it yet, but I said, watch. Now they're going to announce Yuta versus Hook for the FTW belt. I guarantee if they didn't do, what do you call it? If they don't do it on Collision, they'll do it on Rampage, or it'll just get announced on Twitter. But I guarantee that's going to be one of like the 0 hour matches that they put on.
Probably. Then we get to what's turned into now a weekly bit for me. Stop it! Stop it!
I love Nana so much.
It's funny.
I know, and it doesn't work when you try to be a serious heel, but I love Prince Nana so much. He's just such a great dude.
Fuck off with the game.
You know what I really want to see? I want to see a TikTok dance off between Nana and Tozawa.
You know what's sad? Especially based on the very brief mentioning of it by Hangman within the promo segment here.
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like Nana's dancing is more over than Swerve right now.
It is.
Tony! The kid's trying.
He is.
And you're letting Nana fuck him over.
Swerve should be like, Swerve keeps getting these empty promises from Tony about how he's going to be a main event player in the company. It's never going to happen.
So Swerve comes out. Then Tony Schiavone calls out Hangman. Hangman, I'm big, I'm mad, I'm cowboy.
I have butterflies.
I used to teach kids. Now remember, there's a stipulation for this segment that they can't touch each other or anything before Full Gear. Otherwise, the match
Which
is off.
Paige fucked up on.
Can't touch. So, instead of it being a promo segment with two guys, it turned into a promo segment with one guy talking and the other listening the whole time. So what's the point of the face-off if it just becomes a one-person pro? Anyways.
Because it was an amazing promo by Adam. No, it fucking wasn't.
Oh, I'm an angry West Virginia cowboy teacher.
Dude, I will tell you one thing. I will tell you one thing. It is the fucking sheer basic of like first month of training bullshit that Adam Page doesn't know how to do. And that is stand in one fucking place. The second he grabs him, he's dancing around. He's walking in a circle. He's walking in. No, motherfucker, you are on television.
You ain't got to walk like a butterfly and sing like a bee while you have the microphone.
We learned that shit when we're fucking working crowds with no camera. You stand fucking still. And please tell me, number one, you're in California where marijuana is legal.
Right.
So shut up. Number two, that's the first time I've ever heard a babyface say he's going to beat someone up and steal their weed.
True. I totally forgot about that line. Yeah.
That's just that's a babyface maneuver if I've ever heard one.
By the way, for the former teacher, can I give you a physics lesson, Mr. Page? You know why you can stand in place? Because you have this thing called the head and the neck that turn.
Turns.
So if you want to make it look like you're moving without moving, you can turn to different parts of the crowd to engage them.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yep.
plus you already have one side that has basically nobody,
Mm-hmm.
which is the entranceway side.
Mm-hmm.
So you only really need the 3 physics. Anatomy.
You only actually need the. Well, yeah, you got the hard cam, so yeah. I was gonna say you only need the 2 because there's no people, and that's like.
Technically, yes, but you still have to adjust the hard cam, like you said.
Yes.
And then Hangman brings up the no touch stipulation at the end and says, "Well, I have it with you, but not with Prince Nana," and decides jumping the heel manager is a babyface thing to do too.
Right. And then also, just the fact that this is where he fucked up was because you can tell that he forgot to put in that point during his promo because he just went off on a tangent. And then he throws the mic and then he comes back and picks up the mic. It's like, no, right there, you fucked up. You should have just left it. You didn't even need to describe it. You should have just fucking left it. And then like turned around and just jumped Nana and let the commentators be like, well, you didn't touch Swerve. That's all you need to do. You didn't need to pick up the microphone to reiterate the point because I'm sorry, but you got 2 dastardly heels in the ring and you've got one of them who obviously has not said a fucking word, which is a fucking travesty when you're trying to sell this program. But you've got these 2 guys who are standing there and they just let Adam Page throw the mic and then come back and pick up the mic. The second his head went down, Nana should have kicked him in the fucking face. Plain and simple. General logic. If you are trying to promote this as a fight, heels work dirty, and that's the first thing a heel manager would have done. But this is why Tony Khan doesn't know how to fucking book.
You said it. I don't need to. Then we get to bringing the TBS title picture full circle. But I have a question before I reveal the result of this match.
Yes.
Halloween was 3 weeks ago. Why the fuck is Sky Blue still wearing her tribute to the Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Machine, whatever the fuck that vehicle was called?
Because she wants to get her dollar's worth out of having the fucking gear made.
Wear different gear. Stop wearing the same shit 3 weeks in a row. Like, is it that hard? Is it that fucking hard?
Dude, this is a company where half the female talents don't know you're supposed to wear flesh tone leggings, underneath your fucking trunks.
True. How is it that I always have these conversations about gear with AEW and never with WWE? Wait, I just answered my own question. Never mind.
Because AEW wishes they had Sarath.
Not even that. Like, it's just common
Professional
sense. Yeah. Like, duh. Fucking A. Like, if your gimmick is to have, generally speaking, the same gear every match, okay, fine. But I know it's not hers. I've seen her in different shit before.
Mm-hmm. That's why, like, what really got my goat about the last couple of months of Matt Riddle's run was why he was wearing his NXT shit all the time.
He gave up? I don't know.
I guess.
Maybe he knew the writing was on the wall and said, fuck it.
Maybe.
So Sky Blue beats Red Velvet. And apparently...
And my wife walks in the room and goes, why is it always this fucking colored shit on when I walk through the room?
Apparently that was to fucking put somebody into the TBS title match for Full Gear, because they announced pretty much right after that now it's Sky Blue, Julia Hart, and Statlander in a 3-way.
They made the announcement early, in passing. They made it earlier in the night when Sogby was like, by the way, this match is for the third person in the spot.
It's Wednesday night. You know what that means? I feel like I'm swallowing a penis. Anyways, then we get more dumb shit. RJ City backstage to introduce Mariah May to Tony Storm in her dressing room. First, it's Luther answering the door, denies entrance. So let's knock again. Luther opens the door again.
But don't forget, when he opened the door, the whole screen went to black and white.
Right, because God forbid.
Like, no, dude, like, if you're going to do that, at least wait, like, don't do it for the first, either that or you could tell that they shot this live instead of pre-taping it and using the correct After Effects to only have the inside of that door be black and white, which is like easy YouTube creator shit to do.
Yeah.
But that's Tony Khan thinking, oh no, we'll just pre-tape, fucker, pre-tape.
So when Luther opens the door a second time, Mariah basically barges her way in, introduces herself to Tony Storm. And honestly, I totally missed what the fuck the verbal exchange was.
It was basically Mariah May being like, I love you so much, blah, blah, blah. And Tony Storm's like, no autographs, please. Like, just completely, like, blowing her off.
Oh, that's cool.
It's the complete. So basically, they're doing the Mickie James Trish Stratus thing, but they're doing it with Tony Storm being the heel.
Sure.
Because reasons.
Sure. Let me get Samoa Joe squashing some poor schmuck. I think the name I caught was John Cruz. I don't know if that was right.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. And then after the match, he offers his friendship again to MJF and leaves. Yay.
There was another pointless fucking Samoa Joe squashing him, like, and we'll get to it when we get to the next segment. And we'll go over it.
Then we get a replay of the Continental Classic announcement from Collision. And then this was the point where you really knew the crowd was dead. They didn't even pop for the Bucks entrance. And that made me smile and giggle.
But before we get to that, I need to bring this up.
Sure. Pinky's up. So, Rey Phoenix, number one, what's his issue? Is it still his back?
I thought it was concussion protocol still.
Oh. Number two.
Of course, some people are claiming it's work visa issues, where I'm like, but I thought he moved to the U.S., so he shouldn't have work visa issues anymore.
Number two. Why the fuck would we have needed that match anyways?
Because it's SoCal. So every time we're in SoCal, we got to do the Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers.
No. Wait,
yeah, dude.
No.
Because this is AEW, where we don't give you the same matches over and over again. Don't you know?
No.
Literally, the first AEW, the first All Out. What was the main event of the first All Out? Bucks versus Lucha Brothers for the AAA tag belts.
No.
Here we are 4 years later, at least. And we're not that far removed from the fucking best of 7 bullshit. But yeah, let's just keep doing Bucks versus Lucha Brothers. Why? Because no one else wants to fucking work with them.
In the end, the Bucks beat Penta and Commander using a low blow, a Judas effect, and a BTE trigger. Because we're petty.
Because the Bucks decided, hey, let's flip heel in front of our hometown crowd. Because swerve, bro.
Then we get a backstage with Bucks and Lexi. Omega interrupts. Bucks say their promise with Jericho and not him. Then Jericho walks in to try and end things. As him and Kenny turn to leave, the Bucks shove Jericho from behind. Mm-hmm. And then security jumps in to separate. Whatever. Mm-hmm.
Well, plus the Bucks, it's like, oh, well, apparently the rumor mill says the Young Bucks don't give a shit anymore, or some shit. Like, dude, like, no, it's it's the cyclical bullshit of how you don't know how to book your own shit. Of you're not getting over anymore, so now you're gonna flip back heel, thinking that if you're heels for long enough, people will think you're cool heels and you can flip back babyface, and that's not the case. You're just not over anymore. And number two, you're running through the same fucking program you ran through with Adam Page, where now you're going to kick someone else out of the elite. And then eventually they're going to come back into the fold. And
You
the
know
whole
what?
elite's gonna go, and everyone's going to be so happy. They did it with Page. They did it with Adam Cole.
You know what?
What?
As much as you would like to be angry towards Matt and Nick, I gotta be honest, this isn't a Young Bucks problem. It's a Tony Khan problem.
It's an all of them problem.
It's a Tony Khan problem. He's the booker. It's a Tony Khan problem. Here's why it's a Tony Khan problem. You have 160 talents on your payroll. Feel free to book other people in matches other than the fucking EVPs. Fucking use the other 150 talents. There's your solution.
Well, yeah.
Let them take a few months off TV. Push other
That'll
guys.
never happen. That'll never happen.
They get injured enough, they should.
Even when they were fucking injured, they were still on TV.
I know. Just look at one of them. They're wearing a fucking arm brace right now, for God's sake.
Right, because he was going to work through the injury that fucking he's had for like 8 months now?
And then before that, it was the back, and Jesus Christ, did they work that shit.
Uh-huh.
Then we get the Guns winning another squash match. I feel like I'm saying squash match twice a show now for AEW.
Exactly, which this is why the Samoa Joe fucking squash match had no point. Because if you're going to have the Guns come out and do a squash match, there's no point. This is your flagship show. You do squash matches on Rampage. You don't do them on Dynamite.
Plus, you're now putting the Guns on equal footing of Samoa Joe, and that just shits all over Samoa Joe.
Bingo.
So they won a squash in, I don't think it was even 30 seconds, honestly.
No, it was like 10.
They basically shit canned Peter Avalon and then did the 310 to Yuma to whoever the fuck his partner was and got the pinfall.
Yeah.
And then they cut their usual shitty short promo on MJF and the ROH tag titles, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get a Wardlow vignette about MJF because, you know, let's
I'm gonna take everything from you.
Let's kick that stone twice. Then we get the street fight sponsored by Leica Family Guided. Now, before we get into the actual match itself, I have an inherent problem here.
Yes.
I want to bite this can in half. I know what Tony's trying to do with MJF. Book him in the first 15 minutes or the last 15 minutes or the top of the 9 p.m. hour.
Right.
Those are the three main spots he likes putting.
Right.
He just takes the ball, puts it under one of the hats, and then just fucking juggles until he figures out which one.
3-card money, yeah.
Okay. If you have a main event booked that hypothetically should suck all the energy out of the live audience by the end of it, why the fuck are you booking MJF to end the fucking show after that match?
Because Tony Khan's an idiot.
Any hooser. Then, okay, it's a street fight. Hear me out on this. First of all, I love how it doesn't seem like I'm the one saying fuck Judas anymore. That crowd wasn't even really singing it, so yay. It's a street fight. You have an entire team of 4 with 2 of them in suits and 2 of them in wrestling gear. Plus Brian Cage was wearing wrestling gear with whatever that white t-shirt was. So 5 of your 8 wrestlers in an 8-man street fight are in attire that makes zero fucking sense in a street fight.
Yep. Because the guys in the game wear suits.
Does nobody talk to these motherfuckers?
No.
Like, not even Jerry Lynn says, hey, it's cool for the walk-in video of you from an hour and a half ago. Maybe not for
Where you were bootleg
match.
Evolution.
Maybe not a good look for the actual match to be wearing the same shit.
Dude, it's all of the producers that they've given up. They're like, why we're gonna say anything? They're not gonna fucking listen. You know how many egos you have in that fucking situation? You got Jericho, you got Omega, you got Callis. Like, nobody gives a fuck. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I've got fan cam footage
Of what?
a part of the match. I learned how to do share screen. So hold
Christ.
on.
What part of the match are we talking about?
Oh, you'll know. We'll just let it play. I'll put us on the side.
I'm scared. I'm really scared to see this. Oh God.
What's going on?
What the fucking fuck?
Yeah, Takesha throwing around the bike a little bit felt like that, yeah. All right, so to try and go in order of what happened, God almighty. So we get a hot start at the top of the ramp, well, on the ramp in general, but Paul White didn't move from the top of the ramp because he can't move, period. Fletcher gets choke slammed off the stage and through one of those two tables, the black tablecloths.
And his head bounced off the other one. Like, this is what happens when Paul White inked on a choke slam in 10 years. Like, yeah, I thought Fletcher was dead.
And that happens within 90 seconds of the start of the match, and then Paul just walks back through the curtain.
And I'm sorry, but a spot like that, Kyle Fletcher should have been out for the rest of the match. He should have not gotten back up.
Yeah. Which I'm sure is something we're going to mention later on in this match. So I didn't understand why Paul White went back through the curtain until suddenly Powerhouse Hobbs apparently ran away from the match and was back there. I don't know, but we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that in a second. So then at some point we get a barbed wire bat because sure, there's barbed wire bats just lying around the streets of Japan apparently.
Yep. In the streets of Ontario, Canada.
Then we have no, they were in California. It was Ontario, California.
Oh my God, I said Canada. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
You know why? Because I actually had that argument with someone where they were just like, they're like, the Young Bucks aren't from Canada. I was like, it's Ontario, California, dude.
Just like there's not one Albany. There's Albany, New York, Albany, Oregon, Albany, Georgia. So just fuck off. Then we get Coda very precariously riding a bike down the ramp and love tapping two people with the pipe.
With a rubber pipe.
And then Brian Cage clotheslined him into the next dimension.
And he lands on his fucking head, which like that spot, they're lucky that spot didn't go worse than it did. But also, like, the simple fact, I hate the fact that stupid ass fucking sock face starts trying to do his awful ass Dusty Rhodes impression.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh yeah, the second he got a bicycle. Fuck you.
Totally fucking missed that. I'm sorry.
And then he literally, like, you could hear him elbowing Tony Schiavone. See, Tony, look, he got a bicycle. Fuck you.
I'm sure Tony was like, get the fuck off me.
Tony Schiavone was having the bag, like, what's going on?
Then so we get to the actual part of Hobbs and White being backstage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he underestimated how heavy 400 pounds actually is, or if he just didn't understand the position he had to have to make it go right. But Hobbs just fucking body slams Paul White off the top of some stacked up wooden pallets. Not into the top of the car. Not even through the windshield of the car. He ends up body slamming in onto the hood of the car, where Paul can just slide on down and I'm assuming hit his head in the concrete. I didn't really see if he.
Yeah, it did not look good by any means. Like you should have done through the roof of. But number two, like, where in the arena can you park your car next to a random fucking stack of pallets? Yeah, like nobody thinks about the like. I understand suspension of disbelief, but you need to think about the realism of shit in the grand scheme of things. Like, anytime they've done one of these car spots in WWF, WWE, like the concrete into the Corvette, like it makes Vince pulls in the Corvette. Here's Vince's spot. Then here comes driving in, or the limo getting crashed into the production truck. Here's the limo. Production trucks are already set up. Everything, the blocking makes sense. Here, it's just random Lincoln Town car parked next to a stack of pallets.
You know what? With all that said, you know what it reminds me of?
What?
Do you remember the random episode of Nitro? I want to say it was probably 99, maybe 2000. It was literally the very end of Nitro. And Sid is coming out of the arena. And Cesar's car is fucking smashed down. Apparently by Goldberg.
Yeah.
And there's not a car in sight around this car that's smashed down.
Yep. Continuity.
Fuck all, man.
Yep.
Then we get Takeshita bringing the bike in the ring as a weapon. Because, sure, that's safe.
And that's when he needs to start screaming rape. I watched my son use a bicycle as a weapon.
Thank you, Step Brothers. Then we get Takeshita and Jericho fighting through the crowd into the concession stand, because why the fuck not?
Because it's been 2 weeks since we've had that happen. Dude, I want to know how happy Bud Light is for all the free advertising they got on this show.
Right. Then we get a double suplex onto a plastic pallet. For some reason, I wrote Cage is a fucking idiot. I mean, that's obvious.
It's a plastic pallet, and they're trying to act like it's the fucking worst of the world. Like, bro, I'd rather take the bump on the plastic pallet than the bump Paul White took. Or
a bump through a wooden pallet.
Yeah.
Slivers, shards, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's actually why I said Cage is a fucking idiot, because he brought a plastic pallet in, like, ooh, plastic pallet.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it was. Then we get to the confusion that we discussed during the match. Because I wrote down, did those idiots really let Kenny crack a real beer bottle on Fletcher's head? And the reason I thought that was because, A, the sound didn't sound right for Sugar Glass. And the other reason being, Kenny was fucking up the gig and kept checking it. So I'm thinking, this motherfucker really cut open his fucking wrist. What a fucking idiot. Like, the whole thing looked fucking
no,
awful.
There were 3 or 4 Sugar Glass bottles in that little wooden crate.
Right.
And what happened was Fletcher grabbed one of them, because you could tell Fletcher was so stupid, because he grabs one and no matter what he's bumping, he's still holding on to that bottle because he's afraid, because he knows how fucking sensitive. But his stupid ass grabbed the one bottle out and then takes the rest of the wooden crate and throws it in back of him, and you hear everything shatter. Because there were other Sugar Glass bottles in there that were probably supposed to be used for another spot. But then Then we get to how is Kota Ibushi still alive?
Yeah.
Like, who? I know who okayed that spot. Well, why would you okay that spot?
So, before that, actually, hang on. Before we even get to that spot.
Uh-huh.
So after the whole beer bottle thing, Hobbs is finally back in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And Cage decides a superplex through tables on the outside is a good idea.
Because we already had a table spot at the beginning of the fucking match. And we had the Harwood spot. But more tables.
This is the point in the match where I literally in all caps wrote motherfuckers, the whole lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I shared that sentiment with you as well.
Oh yeah.
Because we were live chatting this match back and forth to each other, and I literally couldn't fucking stand it. Then they decide it's a good idea to prop up whatever was left of the sushi menu that was sitting ringside on top of unfolded steel chairs.
Why were there sushi menus?
Because it's a Japanese video game, dude.
I don't give a fuck.
It's based in Japan, dude.
I don't give a fuck.
And on top of setting this up, they decide it's a good idea to let Kyle Fletcher tombstone Kota Ibushi through the fucking sign on the unfolded chairs.
Of the fucking apron. Like, dude, doing one of those erector set bumps as a back bump is a bitch and is unnecessary.
Just go look at the Darby Allin Jeff Hardy match from months ago.
Right. You're going to send a motherfucker in a fucking head down position off of the apron where there is no padding underneath what you're getting.
Correct.
Like, the utter stupidity of everyone involved, the people who did the move, the guy who fucking okayed the match, the guy who booked the match, everyone, all of them were fucking morons for letting that spot happen.
Well, it gets worse.
Right.
Why did it get worse?
Because you could tell Kota was concussed afterwards.
Okay, I'll give you half credit for that. You said this yourself when we were live chatting the match. How the fuck is Kota the first one up after that?
Right.
Fletcher's still laying there,
Yeah.
ringside.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Kota's like, here I am, back in the ring with Chris.
Well, that's
and
because
Kenny.
Kota was concussed. But yeah, like Fletcher sold it more than Kota. And I'm like, why? Like, you're the one that delivered the move. But that's how you, like, I was like, the second Kota's up, I'm like, oh shit. And then when the finish, like, you could tell Kota was legit concussed because the finish happened. And Kota,
he's like, 3? We got 3?
He comes in with a shovel. Like, there was supposed to be another spot.
Broom. It was a fucking broom.
I thought it was a shovel.
No, it was a fucking broom.
Oh my God.
Like a broom your grandmother would have fucking cleaned up the kitchen floor with.
I could have sworn it was a manure shovel.
No, it's a fucking broom.
But yeah, like he was so he thought there was another spot left.
Anyways, the finish is Kenny and Jericho taping Hobbs to the ropes. A good tape job. I'll give them that credit.
They need
better than the one they did on fucking Kenny.
Dude, this is because you could tell because the second they come, all I could think was no baby oil, get out. Because fucking it kept sliding off everywhere. Like, dude, this is what they make Gorilla Tape for.
Right. Then they tape Hobbs' mouth shut because, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Then Kenny takes the menu board to Hobbs' head, takes the chair to his gut because that was necessary.
Yep.
Then he cracks another one of the sugar glass bottles over Hobbs' head
because there was one left.
Sure. And then eventually Kenny pins Cage after hitting the one-winged angel on him.
Yeah, which it's like, okay, so the only logic, the in quotation marks,
is having a replacement take the pinfall.
Exactly. So that way they can keep this match going.
And then once that match ended, I said, "Thank the good Lord."
It's so terrible because it's like,
what was it? A 3-segment match, I think.
Yeah, like where do you go from here? Where do you go? Like they're gonna sadly they're gonna continue this feud. But like the whole thing was they did that, and this was supposed to be on the fucking pay-per-view. But they had to bump it so they could do Bucks versus Jericho and Omega on the paper.
Blood and guts. Blood and guts.
Probably.
Or another Anarchy in the Arena 2 months later.
It's going to be one of the two. You know it's going to be one of the two because Tony's going to try to capitalize on Wargames.
They don't have an original idea.
And the fact that Wargames is about to sell out fucking Chicago, like, yeah.
So then we get to how the show shouldn't have ended, but did end anyways.
Mm-hmm.
MJF cutting an in-ring promo shorter than usual. Why? Because you only gave the motherfucker 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Then Jay White comes out.
And they still went over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Jay White comes out at the top of the ramp, cuts his own promo. The rest of Bullet Club Gold attacks MJF on cue from Jay White.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go off the air because this is the image we want to be left with going into Full Gear. Samoa Joe just standing there watching everything on the monitor, and he's all like, what the fuck are you so angry for?
Because he's Joe and he's always angry. Because someone stole his Hot Pockets.
It's not like Bullet Club Gold did anything to you. The fuck you mad at?
It's just stupidity, and it's that this way the heels are standing over the fallen baby face because that worked in the Watts days. Yeah, that worked in the Watts days because people look like a formidable threat. Like, because this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Pay-per-view is going to come. Either Max is going to accept the olive branch from Joe for the pre-show, and Joe's going to turn on him, and that's how Max is going to lose the Ring of Honor belts. Or Max is going to go over and completely bury this fucking tag team. And then he's going to go on to win in the main event. And just in a matter of 10 days, you have taken your two most, like, the biggest heel stables in the company with the Callis family and Bullet Club Gold, and both of them have just been completely fucking neutered.
I'll go with an option C here as well.
Okay.
Joe helps him retain the tag belts, but then at the end of the night, MJF retains and Joe jumps him.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's option. That's good.
That's the problem, is nobody thinks that Jay White has a snowball's chance in hell of winning because they're already having Joe and Wardlow and whoever the devil is all gunning for MJF too.
Right.
And saying that they want the title.
I just had a random idea.
Yeah.
I know physically it doesn't make sense because of the appearances being totally different. What if Samoa Joe's the devil?
That would be terrible.
It's Tony Khan.
I know. And
it actually kind of makes sense when you think about Joe was there to walk in after the Acclaimed were jumped.
Yeah, but then who would be the henchman?
The Kingdom? I know it doesn't fit, but
nothing fits. Like nothing fits.
It's AEW booking. Nothing. Yeah, like you said, nothing fits.
No matter what, no matter who gets revealed to be it doesn't matter because some jackwagon on Twitter will do the fucking Charlie Day fucking conspiracy board thing, and then Tony Khan will be like, "This guy gets it." Right.
Before even giving out the 9-match card currently booked for Full Gear that we know is going to become 15 matches by the end of tonight.
Yep.
Did you see how Tony Khan has decided to handle the vacancy of the ROH television title?
No, I have not.
So over the course of the next few weeks on ROH TV, on
a tournament?
Hold on. Over the course of the next few weeks on ROH TV, only on WatchROH.com and Honor Club, as he mentioned, there will be a series of qualifying matches where the winners are going to be booked into a 6-way survival of the fittest match, which will then determine the World Television Champion at Final Battle.
Oi.
I mean, At least he's bringing back an ROH based idea for it. That's the one thing I'll give him half credit for. Survival of the Fittest is an ROH branded thing for the past. So he gets half credit on that. I'll give him that. It was like he just decided to name it like the fucking half a dozen challenge or something like that. Because you can't call it the 6-pack challenge. So let's call it the half a dozen challenge. I had to. I'm glad I popped you. I'm happy for that. All right, real quick. The Full Gear card as it stands right now. The one pre-show match, like we just mentioned, MJF, assumingly by himself right now, defending our ROH World Tag Titles against Austin and Colton Gunn.
For the Ring of Honor tag titles,
Right.
because, it's not like Ring of Honor has a pay-per-view in a few weeks or anything.
The 8 main card matches. Hikaru Shida defending the women's title, AEW Women's World Title against Toni Storm. Sting, Darby, and Adam Copeland with Ric Flair. By the way, don't forget Flair's in the corner. Gotta mention that. Against
The patriarchy.
Yeah, I was about to say that. That's so fucking cringe.
Yep.
Orange Cassidy defending the international title against Jon Moxley. Hangman versus Swerve in a Texas death match.
Because it's been a whole fucking 5-6 weeks since we've had a Texas death match.
Yeah.
Which Texas death match, and where are they?
California, Los Angeles.
Thank you. Let's
not just have it be a Hollywood street fight or Hollywood.
Right.
Well, can't be a backlot brawl because that's
backlot brawl, baby.
Omega and Jericho against the Bucks, where if Omega and Jericho win, they get the Young Bucks AEW tag title shot they still have in hand. If the Bucks win, Jericho and Omega can no longer be a tag team. TBS title 3-way. Statlander defends against Julia Hart and Sky Blue. Starks and Big Bill defend the AEW tag titles in a 4-way against Rush and Jalistico, FTR, and Malachi Black and Brody King. And then, presumably, who knows with TK booking, the main event, MJF defending the AEW title against Jay White.
And don't forget one other thing on the pay-per-view. And that
the major talent signing. Yeah.
Who I'm saying it's Ronda.
You're calling it, I'm not. And I'm not calling it because I refuse to believe it's going to be Ronda. It probably is. You're probably right. But
no matter who it is, it's not going to make a lick of difference. No. But I get plus you need to realize that it's someone that Tony Khan thinks will get Warner to come back to the table, because as of right now, they are still worlds apart on monetary negotiation.
Someday love will find you. Sorry.
That's separate ways, not worlds apart. Well, yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Is there any other stupidity? Just because it's kind of sort of Ring of Honor related. Did Delirious outkick his coverage or what? Mm-hmm. He married Mandy Leon over the weekend.
Mm.
Good on him.
I would consider that more Impact related because he's booking for them.
True. I'm just thinking, Mandy, whatever.
Yeah.
Good for them. Congrats. Whatever. Fuck.
Yeah.
Nice little Ring of Honor reunion they had at the wedding. Good for them.
Yeah.
Anyways, reminder of what the good times were before TK bought it. All right. Let's get to SmackDown from last week, because I got a lot of questions. More questions than answers.
Okay.
Can we have a trial for Kevin Owens? Because technically he attacked Theory and Waller for what they did to Michael Cole, not something they did to him. Couldn't he at least appeal the decision for the suspension that he has now?
I got nothing.
I think that would make for a funny segment.
Yeah.
KO with a KO t-shirt with a tie.
Yeah, this just feels like it's going back towards KO versus the Authority once again. Except this time it's KO and Aldis.
Great. Let's have KO versus Aldis at Royal Rumble.
I don't think we're gonna see Nick in the ring.
No, I don't think so either. But who knows? Who the fuck knows?
Dude, the worst thing that I keep hearing is all these people like, oh, this is all gonna lead towards Adam Pearce versus Nick Aldis at Mania. No, it's not, fuckers. No, it's not. Adam Pearce has said, I'm never taking a fucking bump again.
All right. Let's go through the prevailing storylines that are happening on this show currently, aside from the KO one. Number one. Why is it same story, ninth verse with Rey Mysterio booking?
Yeah.
Takes in somebody as a friend. They look like they're getting along, and then he gets fucked over by the friend.
Like always.
He did it with Eddie. Then he did it with Batista. Then he did it with Eddie again.
He did it with Edge.
He did it with Edge.
He did it. What do you call it? He did it with Dom. Like,
what are we
just
doing?
Tired of it. It's old and it's played out, and I feel like that has to do with Ray having a creative control clause in his contract.
So, for those of you who aren't picking up what we're putting down, Crown Jewel about 2 weeks ago, Logan Paul is facing Rey Mysterio for the U.S. title, which, by the way, Logan Paul has since come out and said, don't give me too much credit for that spot that you guys are all giving me credit for. So, good on you.
He also said he's completely done with boxing.
Yes, which I can deal with that. I'm cool. So the way the match ended was Logan Paul using knucks that were left on the ring apron accidentally, quote unquote, accidentally, by Santos Escobar to knock out Ray and pin him for the title. So fast forward to SmackDown last week, Ray and the LWO were all in the ring together, just trying to make sense out of it. Then Carlito comes out separately, which is interesting because I thought Carlito was technically in LWO, but they still gave him a separate entrance. Whatever. So Carlito comes out and says, Ray, you shouldn't blame yourself. You should blame the guy who left the knucks on the ring for Logan to get to in the first place. Basically finger pointing at Santos. Santos gets angry, leaves, basically says, fuck you, and leaves. Ray chases after him. Then we get Lashley facing Carlito with the Profits ringside. Lashley gets the win thanks to Montez interfering. They start beating up Carlito in a 3-on-1. Ray comes out with a chair. Santos eventually comes out, and they chase off Lashley and the Profits. And then there's an argument between Santos and Ray, and then Santos basically says, fuck you, and attacks Ray. So now we've got the devolving of LWO, it seems like, where Santos is now turned heel. But now you have the surrounding parts in question because Joaquin and Cruz and Zelina all came in with Santos. So now you have to question the loyalty of those three being with Ray and Carlito or with Santos. And
right.
So that's a whole fucking mess and a half of a story that we have to unpack. Basically, who the fuck?
And Dragon Lee somewhere in there too.
Right. Because Dragon Lee was... I don't know if this is actually during an actual promo, or if it was just during an interview, but Ray essentially anointed Dragon Lee as the future of Lucha within WWE.
Yeah.
Which I would assume Santos brings to the forefront at some point if you want to tell the story properly.
Yeah.
So it's a whole fucking mess and a half. Hopefully we get more answers tonight on SmackDown because my brain hurts just thinking about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Another main thing, obviously, being damage control. What's up with that? That's basically Bayley's approach when she entered last week's episode. What's up with that? I didn't know about Kyrie. What the fuck? Io basically said, you made a plan, but I also made a plan. That's why she showed up. And Bayley was like, huh? Okay. And then here's a key element. Io and Dakota and Kyrie all want a group hug. And Bayley says out loud, I don't do that shit anymore. It's like a circle. There's no beginning and there is no end. That's funny. So then eventually we get a 6-man tag because Bianca comes out and then Charlotte comes out and then Asuka comes out. Apparently anti-damage control. But then we get to the end of the match. Bianca tries to tag in Asuka.
Yep.
Asuka says "fuck you,"
Mhm.
spits a mist into Bianca's face.
Mm-hmm.
Matches are now a no contest, and it looks like Asuka's now part of Damage Control as well.
Yep.
So now we're up to 5 members of Damage Control.
And here's what gets me is this was so ham-fisted. And by the way, we're getting a women's War Games match. Like, they waited too long. Like,
the story's being rushed a little bit. Yes,
it's very rushed. And the thing is, like, obviously we can see where this is going. We're going to see the baby face turn of Bailey eventually. I think it might come a little sooner than the Rumble now. We're going to see that Dakota is the mastermind. That's obviously where they're going to go with this. Dakota's the mastermind of the new Damage Control. Bailey's going to get thrown to the wayside. Now we kind of see like the because they said we got 2 more people, one you won't even see coming. I can obviously see the one you wouldn't see coming being Asuka now. So that means they're going to add someone to oust Bailey, or they're going to try to add someone, and it's going to eventually be Sasha, and Sasha's going to end up siding with Bailey.
Which is interesting, the phrasing you just used.
Yeah.
Because what was I going to say? Oh, because we sat here last week trying to think of who the fuck these 2 women could be.
Right.
And I don't think either one of us ever mentioned the name Asuka.
Right, because we were thinking of people outside the company.
So, fuck us for not thinking that.
Yeah.
I'll take the fall on this one because I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It just feels a bit on the rush side.
Very. I was like, I could have gone without a women's War Games match this year. Like, but I guess it's like that's the balance of, because the men's War Games match is pretty much Raw centric. So the women's will be SmackDown centric.
Yes. So Damage Control, the LWMS, and then the third, this is a 2-part thing we're trying to figure out. Because they face each other at Crown Jewel, so now we're trying to figure out where these 2 people are going. Because it looks like different directions, but I'm not sure it's totally different directions. It might be directions that intersect at varying points over the next couple months. And that would be Roman Reigns, LA Knight. For now, they're booking LA Knight with the whole Theory Waller crowd, which makes you think maybe they have LA Knight and KO together briefly at some point, possibly.
To keep them relevant.
Right. The other end of it, though, is that LA Knight did say on SmackDown that he's not done with the bloodline. So it kind of makes you think also, not necessarily he's going to get another title shot. That's not happening. But like at some point, the webs are going to interweave again where maybe you have more of maybe like KO and LA Knight versus Jimmy and Solo, like that kind of shit happening.
Yeah.
But the more important piece out of this is we know he's not in Survivor Series coming up next weekend. What direction, if any, are we looking to establish for the remainder of the calendar year? Now, let's not get knee deep into Rumble yet. But what do you do moving forward through the next 6 weeks, let's say, to get you through the holiday season? Do you give a one-off title match at some point, like they've tended to do around the holiday season?
Tribute to the
Troops on
Troops.
Right. You have Tribute to the Troops coming up, that usually airs what, like early December, right?
Yeah, it's actually taking one of the SmackDowns this year is going to be Tribute to the Troops instead of it being a one-off.
So it kind of makes you wonder where you weave Roman in at some point. Do you have that annual holiday-ish title match?
Right.
And then the most important part of that, who the fuck do you have it with? Because you just, for lack of a better phrase, and it wasn't a squash match by any reason, but you've squashed the LA Knight end of things. I mean, KO is there, but he hasn't really.
Right.
He's been more focused on the theory wall end of things.
Mm-hmm.
So you got nobody really established at this point on that roster to get that match.
Right.
And I don't see anyone on the roster right now that would make a whole lot of sense storyline wise to put to that position.
Right.
So you just go back to the well and run it back with LA Knight, knowing full well there's not a chance in hell he's winning the match. Do
Maybe.
you like? There's nothing really making sense in my mind based on the current construction of the roster, unless again you just throw somebody in there on a whim on a one-off, like.
Or you end up doing something like Cena shows up and you do LA Knight and Cena against Roman and Solo.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he could run back because that was, well, no, the tag match before Crown Jewel was Jimmy and Solo.
Right.
So yeah, he could do Roman and Solo. That could make sense.
Right.
Or Roman's teaching a lesson to Solo for not losing to Cena, but oh no, it'll be more of a lesson for Jimmy because Jimmy's the one that lost to LA Knight before Crown Jewel. So yeah, it'll be Roman and Solo. Never mind, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense too. Instead of having it be a title match. Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the interim of having him there on TV, you start pushing towards whoever's going to be the next admitted challenger on TV on that side.
Yeah, trying to figure out who the fuck, because I'm trying to think of the SmackDown roster.
Yeah, there's not a lot of.
I've got nothing right now. But I like just off the top of my head, I've got nothing. I can't.
Like they could go back to the well with KO eventually because it's been a while now, and you know that him and Roman always work together well. But
is there anybody injured we're forgetting
on SmackDown? Not that I can think of.
I mean, there is one person I can think of. I just don't know why he hasn't been on TV lately. I can't remember if he's injured or not.
Cross?
No, but I like your thinking. Because they never put a bow on that.
I know.
Before. He literally just came out a couple times with hourglasses and that was it.
Right.
The guy I was actually thinking of is an actual babyface right now. Sheamus.
Yeah, Sheamus, he's not hurt, but they gave him some time off after whatchamacallit. The last pay-per-view he was on, they said he was gonna get some time off.
Right. Was it SummerSlam maybe?
Was it SummerSlam? I thought it was after that.
I don't know. Night of Champions, something like that. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's been a lot of just Butch and
I think the last match he had was the match against Edge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jesus. Wow. Yeah, I think you're right, actually. The Toronto match, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's just been a lot of Butch and Ridge and no Sheamus to be seen. So
yeah,
that might be a direction they could take for Rumble, I guess, as a
possibility.
Filler.
Yeah.
Because I can't think of I'm stumped. I got no one. I got fucking no one.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you could go heel versus heel if you want to have the Hurt Business and Bloodline clash a little, but I don't like that idea.
Yeah.
Right. Right. That's the same reaction I had in my head, but
right.
It's something to fill space. That's really the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
And then you also got to wonder, what the fuck are they doing for Elimination Chamber? Is that going to be a title match? If it's not a title match, what title is it going to be revolving around? So, but again, that's.
I think Chamber is going to end up being a number one contenders match for whoever's not facing whoever wins the Rumble.
The Rumble winner, right? I tend to agree with that
because word getting out is Gunter's not going to make it to Australia.
Correct.
So it won't be for the Intercontinental title.
Speaking of Gunter, I need to sidebar real quick. I know we have like 20 minutes left, basically, from what we have our goal. But I got to ask, please tell me you saw the shit he said about Ultimate
Warrior. Yeah.
Wow. Talk about burying somebody while they're already 6 feet under.
I mean, he was in
fuck.
gimmicks, so
Still, wow. Fucking wow. Oh.
I mean, he wasn't telling any lies.
No, he was. No, not at all. And he can get away with that because Dana's not employed anymore. Anyways.
I guarantee that's why they did that.
All right. All right. Now on the Raw side of things. I'm going to skim through results for me so I can just kind of get an idea of the stuff we need to bring up. Number one, obviously the main thing, because we're headed down to Wargames, is Team Judgment Day versus Team Not Judgment Day. First of all, Cody, it's not your team.
Oh, but no, he's the captain because his daddy invented the match. Because
who said that?
I honestly think he did.
Please tell me that's a joke.
No.
Like, I know your face is on the poster for the show, but please tell me that's a joke.
I'm almost positive he said it during his opening promo of the match beyond the match my father invented. Because we can't go fucking 5 minutes without Cody reminding us that he's Dusty's son because he has no personality of his own.
Okay, that's fine. Remind me again, by the way, Cody, Jay, Sami Zayn. Who's the fourth guy?
Seth.
Oh, right. I keep forgetting to put the champion in the match and not have him do a title match. That's right. Right. So we have all the loose ends kind of being tied up. Cody and Seth shake hands, kiss babies with each other. Jay and Sammy, they've shook hands, kissed babies, made well, whatever. But then Damian Priest says, I'm the leader?
Apparently he was elected the leader. Even though we supposedly they all agreed, they were just like, it was such a like a jumbled fucking promo where they're like, yeah, I'm cool with it. If you're cool with it, go. No, we all know that Rhea is the fucking leader of the stable.
Right. Because
we all know that.
That doesn't match the end of the show.
I know.
Is this
but I think it was I think it was the matter of because Rhea's not in the match. They said that he's the leader because of the match, so he's the team captain.
Okay,
still doesn't make sense.
Oh, thank you. So right, and then in the midst of the show, Damian basically said, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend," and said, "Fine, McDonough, you're in the fucking stable. Fine, great. Now we have two pasty white Europeans on the team."
Like such once again, just ham-fisted. Like,
they've been shoving JD down our throats in JD since what? Summer?
Yeah.
It feels like. So we have two pasty white Europeans on the same stable. Yay. It's like League of Nations all over again.
We have Finn Balor and great value Finn Balor.
This actually feels more like a League of Nations than the original League of Nations because you have Ireland. Well, two guys from Ireland, so not really, I guess. But then you have the Puerto Rican from New York City, and then you have the
Mexican from California,
right? It's like,
and the Australian,
right, yeah. And then by the end of Raw, we have
and his wife.
And then by the end of the show, we may or may not have a Scottish guy in.
We do.
You think he's actually in the stable or just?
Oh no, he's not in the stable, but he's in the match.
That's what I mean. So to come full circle with the show for that story, they had a tag title rematch from the fuck did they just have? Crown Jewel.
Yep.
Where?
Well, it wasn't from Crown Jewel. It was from the week before that.
Right. Yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah. Where Cody and Jay got their title rematch against Priest and Finn.
Mhm.
End of the match, Drew comes out and claymores the shit out of
Jay.
Jay and leaves Cody all alone in the ring to fend for himself. Finn gets the win.
Well, I
The
thought
peop-
I thought he claimed more Jay and then threw Jay in, and Jay took the pin.
Oh, right. He claymore Jay and threw Jay in. That's right, because
Yeah.
Cody had been shit canned at one point.
Yeah.
So he threw Jay in after the claymore. Finn got the pin to retain the titles.
Mhm.
And then Drew shook hands with Mommy at the top of the ramp, the entranceway, not the ramp. It's not a ramp
Right.
anymore. To solidify basically Drew's in the match as the 5th member for Team Judgment Day.
Yeah, like
But herein lies my. I know obviously them pushing more and more towards Drew becoming a heel, and I get that.
yeah.
They really need to spend this coming Monday night closing up that loophole I just mentioned. They really need to devote a segment to a Judgment Day promo in ring where they're closing up the loophole. Is Drew a member of the Judgment Day now, or is he literally just doing a favor for Rhea?
Right.
And if they don't close that loophole, it's going to make zero fucking sense when they go through that match.
Right.
Because the last thing you want are people assuming one thing when it's not that and getting all their hopes up.
Right. And especially because you want to, it's if it's, the motivation for Drew being siding with them, because once you get them in the cage, like you can't very well have Drew like stop Damian from cashing in for the fucking briefcase like after the match is done or something like that, because Drew wants the title for himself. Like there's too much conflict that's still there.
Right.
And of course, because WWE doesn't know how to keep a secret, we all know who the 5th member of the baby faces is going to be.
Is it going to be Randy?
Yes, they've been uploading a ton of old Randy Orton footage to the WWE YouTube channel in the past 48 hours.
I mean, so now here comes that question.
Mm-hmm.
Is he revealed Monday, or do they keep it a complete secret till day of show?
He'll get revealed Monday.
Okay. The other loose end involving Judgment Day, Rhea and Zoe Stark. As much as I know it pains you to know that Zoe Stark is getting a title shot on the main show, yeah, that's whatever. Shinsuke's been cutting these very vague promos.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck is he trying to get to?
Not sure, but it's someone that's there. It's not someone they're bringing in.
I'll tell you who I'd love to see it. Although, again, this would be heel versus heel, but I would love to see this match.
Hmm.
Can we get a Shin versus Gunther match for the Intercontinental title?
That would be nice.
And you know what you could even do? You know what you could even do? You always stick it to New Japan. You can bring up footage of him being an Intercontinental champion there.
Yep.
Really poke the fucking bear.
Yep.
You can even bring out, because they're all in the company, Shin and AJ footage.
Mm-hmm.
Did Shin face Finn, or was Shin right out? I think Shin and Balor face each other.
Yeah.
Just put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I know this is NXT related, but I gotta put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we Why are we still pushing this whole Alpha Academy Heritage Cup shit?
So it's getting kiboshed. They pre-taped this upcoming week's NXT, which I figured because we're running short on time, we'll just cover both weeks when we do it this week. But yeah, they needed something to do to keep shit going, and like I said, like there's no reason to keep the Heritage Cup around anymore. There isn't.
So Tegan Knox pinned Piper Niven in a singles match. Does that mean we're going to see Tegan and Natalya get a shot at the women's tag titles now?
Yep.
Fuck! Sorry, I'm just I need less Natalya on my TV screen.
Why?
All right, I can deal with Natalya on my TV screen. Just don't put her in front of a fucking microphone. Like, don't speak. Just wrestle. Everything that I'm sorry. I know the family she comes from. I know the blood. I know the bloodline she's from. I get it. Her doing any kind of speaking role on WWE TV just feels cringe.
I don't mind it.
Yeah, you just like looking at her, whatever.
No, I just think there's far worse people on the mic.
True. The dynamic within Imperium, because we have Ludwig Kaiser winning a match.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks in part to Vinci getting involved, but now instead of Gunther congratulating Kaiser and giving him all the credit, we have Gunther now giving Vinci the credit. They're confusing the dynamic of what's going on within Imperium, and I'm not sure if I like it.
They are.
I legit don't know what the fuck is going on there. They're really pushing this whole Xia Li, Becky Lynch shit, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like I said, it's a stopgap to keep Becky away from Rhea as long as possible.
The Miz, I guess, is a cool tweener because they're even cheering for him when he pins somebody with his feet on the ropes against Bronson Reed now.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Ivar, excuse me. He faced Ivar.
Ivar, yeah.
Bronson Reed was just there.
Yep.
I don't fucking know. I'm confused. But anyways, all right. So yeah, we'll cover both weeks of NXT next show.
Right, because next week's Thanksgiving, so we're probably gonna have to do something earlier in the week.
Right. The one last thing I want to bring up, involving NXT before we go.
Mm-hmm.
And there is two quick WWE things I want to mention as well. How do you feel about Corbin being the one booked to face Ilya at Deadline?
I figured that was the way it was going.
You're okay with it?
For now, it is what it is.
There's no way Baron wins, right?
No.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're on the same page on that. They officially announced Backlash being in France in May. Thoughts?
I'm all for it. I mean, I think this should be the new thing is every year Backlash should be in a foreign / semi-foreign location.
Okay.
You know, because last year, this year it was in Puerto Rico, doing in France.
I mean,
dude, like, I think it would be hilarious if Backlash 2025 was at Wembley. I would laugh my balls off.
That would be funny. Also, outside of the ring related for WWE, it appears they're open to selling advertising now.
I have a graphic for that. For
in-ring as well as along. First of all, McDonald's is never going to have ad space like that in the ring. But they're open to selling ad space, looks like, on the mats and along the barricades, kind of a la AEW, but kind of not.
And I mean, this isn't really anything new. I mean, they did this, granted, it was with already owned properties, like how they were doing during the Cruiserweight Classic. They did it with Tap Out.
Right.
Because that was when Vince bought Tap Out.
Look, let's just be real. This, not only is it nothing new, it's like common sense.
Right.
It's common sense economics. It was. This shit was bound to happen eventually.
AAA was doing this shit 20 years ago. They used to have a giant Modelo freaking emblem on the center of the freaking canvas.
Last thing before we go, because I know we only have a couple minutes, but it's something indie related that I want to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
So the Globe Theater.
Oh no, dude, debunked.
What do you mean debunked?
They're staying open.
So how the fuck did it get out that they were closing?
Meltzer.
I hate myself. I really do. Why do
I meant to let you know because it was Meltzer that reported it and it was debunked by the Globe Theater. They said basically they just signed a deal for it to be open for quote unquote years to come.
Okay. So then the last thing I want to bring up is PWG. Usually they run a ton of shows every year.
Mm-hmm.
They only ran 3 shows this year.
Uh-huh.
And then Super Dragon came out and announced that we do a lot of family shit, including, I believe, his wife having a bad medical issue.
Yeah.
So, so that's why they haven't run very many shows this year, and there won't be any shows until sometime 2024.
Mm-hmm.
As far as for that region, how important do you feel PWG is?
I don't.
Do you think Wrestling Revolver might overtake it at some point?
Maybe.
As like the predominant promotion out there?
Maybe. I mean, like I said, I think Revolver is going to be the next company to start charging exorbitant amount for their tickets.
Right.
And like all it does is hurt other indies, like across the country. But hey, but that's a rant that I want to get on next week about the whole what helps the business and what doesn't, because I've got a lot of things to say on that issue that we just don't have time for today.
And I'll probably provide the first thing one of the things you're going to mention. Mm-hmm. Their pricing makes it excusable in the minds of other promoters.
Right.
That they can charge higher than usual.
Right.
Which then fucks everything up for everyone.
Exactly.
So it's all basic economics, folks.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. All right. So because we're up against it, that's it for episode 102, unless you have something else real quick.
No, we can hold off everything until next week.
All right. That does it for episode 102. Episode 103, like I mentioned, holiday week, so the schedule is probably going to be a little earlier than usual. Mm-hmm. We will cover Full Gear. We will cover both this past week's NXT and
the pre-taped NXT.
Correct. Because fuck it, why not? Yeah. And then obviously we'll cover tonight's SmackDown. We'll cover Monday's Raw, the Go Home Raw for Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm.
And and then we'll preview Survivor Series because that's next weekend as well.
Yep.
Follow us on the Twitter, X, whatever the fuck you want to call it. He's at JJ_Alexander. I'm at Brian Katie. Look up Full Circle Radio on Facebook, motherfuckers.
Well, no, we're listed. We're listed as White Heat with Brian and JJ on Facebook. But if you want to like and subscribe, and you're not out here already, subscribe to the Full Circle Radio channel.
Done.
And hit that bell for notifications.
Yes. So, JJ, there's one thing left to do, and I think you know.
Yes.
What that is. JJ, say fuck lazy booking.
Fuck lazy booking.
A-Town down. Okay. Usher. For the Let's go. In the club with my homies, trying to get a little VI. Keep it down on the low key. Cause you know how it feels. I saw shorty, she was checking up on me. From the game, she was spitting in my ear. You would think that she